Hello friends, I'm Bhuvan Kishore Rathi. I'm starting my new YouTube channel to spread awareness about financial literacy. I will be having a series of sessions and my first series or my first session is about debt management. So now let's look at the agenda for today's session. Why debt management is important. Most of the time we keep spending or we keep buying the products on the credits, but we do not realize the importance of managing our debts. So we will talk in detail about this. We will talk about what are the different types of debt, why budgeting and the tracking expenses is important, and what are the different strategies for debt management. Why debt management is important. Most of the time we think that debt management is about paying your loans, paying your EMIs, paying your credit card bill. But that's not the case. When we say debt management, this is also about securing your financial future. In future, you would like to know that what kind of liabilities you have, what kind of wealth you have accumulated. So if you have to plan all that properly, you need to have a proper planning for your debt. And that's what we call as debt management. It's a process of detailing where your money will go before even you spend it. So either you have a income from salaries, income from business or any other sources. But unless you have a proper management for your debts, you will not be able to plan that how you would like to spend it. Before you spend it, you would like to know that where my money will go automatically because of EMIs, bills, or any other kind of liabilities you have. And in order to plan all this properly, we need to have a debt management. And that's what this session is all about. Now let's understand in detail why debt management is important. Preventing financial crisis. So if you are not aware that how much loans, how much liability you have, and you keep buying new products, you keep spending money, then that there will be a time when it will lead to bankruptcy. And by the time you will realize that, it will be too late for you. So it's important that you must have clear idea on what you are paying, what liabilities you have, how much you are saving, and accordingly you can plan your future. Reducing financial stress. So if you have a proper plan in place, you know how money will come to you, how you will be spending it, and you have a clear cut plan for it. So it will definitely reduce the financial stress on you. Access to better financial product. So when you pay your liabilities timely manner, it will increase your credit score. And when any financial service provider gives you any product, they look at your credit score. They with the credit score that they understand that how better you plan it, and this will give you a better interest rate, better credit limits, or a better financial products as well. Reducing stress and anxiety. So as we have discussed earlier, if you know where your money is coming from, how it's going, what you are saving, how much you are accumulating for your future, then you will have a peace of mind and you will definitely be able to focus on your positive goals, because based on your saving you can plan your new goals. It could be your vacations, it could be for children's, it could be medical emergencies or any other kind of emergency fund. But when you have a clear plan, you will be able to plan it in a better way. Building long term wealth. So again, if you know that how much you are saving, how much are your liabilities, when your liabilities are likely to be over, then you can invest that in your wealth building products. And once you start investing it in a timely manner, in a disciplined manner, then in the long term you will be able to spend, or you will be able to build a big corpus and you will be able to spend based on your needs. And last but not the least, it helps in promoting responsible financial behavior. So early in your life, you start behaving in a disciplined way by managing your debts, managing your liabilities, managing your savings, managing your right investment. Then you will be basically accumulating good amount of wealth when the by the time the need arises. Now let's talk about types of debt. We classify debts as good debts and a bad debts. And this depends on what kind of value it will add for you in the future. For example, educational loan. This is something you will take to educate someone and which may help in making a bright future. Similarly, if you talk of housing loan, most likely this will appreciate in a longer run. There could be exceptional scenario, but in general this will appreciate if you take it for a longer period, and that's why we call it as a good debt. Now if you talk about a bad debt, this is something which will depreciate in future. For example, instant gratification. If you buy your luxury items on a credit card and you are not in a position to pay it, your service provider is going to charge very high interest rate on it. Similarly, if you take a car loan, though car is very essential in today's scenario, but you need to decide what need kind of car you have to take or how much loan you have to take, because in longer run the car will always depreciate and the interest on car loans are always higher. So when you are taking any liability, you have to make sure that what kind of debt you are investing. Is it going to add a value for you in future, or this is likely to depreciate and you want to minimize it? Why budgeting and tracking income and expenses is important. So when you do effective budgeting, that ensures that you are living within your means, you are reducing your unnecessary expenses, and if possible, you are also making a room for your savings or how you can repay your debts. So with effective budgeting, you can always aim for future that what will be the accumulated wealth depending on the debt that reduces or the expenses that you plan, and accordingly what kind of investment you make. Tracking income and expenses. So regularly monitoring income and expenses helps in understanding spending patterns, which means that if you regularly track your income and expenses, you know what kind of expenditure you have or what kind of expenditure suits your lifestyle. You also make your adjustments and ensure that financial goals are being met. So when you have targeted some of your financial goals and you see that it's you are unable to meet them, then by tracking your incomes, tracking your expenses, or effective budgeting, you can always readjust your expenses and replan the things. While a budget provides a roadmap, tracking your expenses ensure you are staying on course. Okay. Now, how do you track your budget? So creating budget step by step, following are the points that you can, these are just the guidelines. You can have different ways, but these are just the guidelines how you can create your budget. Identify your income. Your income can be from any sources like salary, your rental income, your income from any kind of investments like mutual fund or share market, etc. List your fixed expenses. There are certain expenses that are fixed every month. For example, rent or the bills or the insurance premiums, EMIs. Then enumerate variable expenses. There are few expenses which are variable in nature. For example, groceries cannot be fixed every month. Your entertainment expense changes depending on either it's a vacation or your office leaves or any other kind of entertainment expenses. You can always plan, reduce or increase. Set financial goals. So you should always set certain financial goal. Emergency fund. This is something you should be having in case of any crisis. It could be medical emergencies, it could be any other kind of emergency. So you should always have certain fund which can help you without disturbing your regular investment. You want to plan your vacations. So depending on all those steps, you always need to evaluate and adjust. As we discussed earlier, for example, you have planned certain financial goals and you think that it's not on the track. You can basically replan your variable expenses, replan financial goal to some extent. Okay. Okay. So till now we talked about what is debt management, what are the different types of debt, and why debt management is important. Now the question arises, what are the strategies for debt management? So let's look at the two strategies of debt management. We will talk about debt snowball method and debt avalanche method. In both the cases, we need to prioritize our debt based on certain criteria like the interest rates, the balances, or the payment terms for debt. So when we talked about debt snowball method, in this case, you list down all the debts in increasing order of the amount, and you pay off your debts which has a smallest balance first, and then followed by the next debt in the sequence. So this helps in reducing the count of total number of debts. However, in the longer run, you will end up paying more interest rate on this particular strategy. The reason being you are selecting with the smallest amount but not with the highest interest rate. Now, if we talk about debt avalanche method, in this case, you pay off your debts first with the highest interest rate. So this will minimize the total amount of interest that you pay in the longer run. But the drawback for this is that in the shorter run, you will not see the fruitful results, and you may feel like that you are strategizing it, still you are not reducing the count of total number of debt. So if we compare both of them, debt snowfall versus debt avalanche method, in debt snowfall, seeing the success of your efforts encourage you to keep going because you will see success initially. But again, in the longer run, this will stretch little longer because overall you are going to pay the higher interest amount in this. However, in a debt avalanche method, you will achieve debt-free status quicker and pay less interest in a longer run. But in the shorter run, you will lose the motivation quickly because you will not see the fruitful results. You will not see the total count of your debts coming down. So which approach is better out of these two? This depends on what gives you more comfort. If you think that extra count of the debts it creates a pressure on your mind, then definitely a debt snowball method is important. However, you think that it doesn't matter what are the counts, but in the longer run, you want to pay a less interest rate. In that case, you can opt for a debt avalanche method. Thank you, friends, for watching this video. I hope you like it, you enjoy it. Please do subscribe to this channel, and I will be sharing more and more such session in the coming days. Thank you.